The main 5 pillars that we rely on, which we call the judging criteria, consist of trick difficulty and execution, flow and consistency, use of course, and repetition. Trick difficulty is one of the main judging criteria in not only the run section, but in the single trick section as well. And that specifically means how difficult are the tricks in your run. That's doing tricks that maybe we've never seen before in a run or a contest. Normally the judges love seeing that.
Wow! What a way to end it there for Sora.
If the trick difficulty is there, that normally always equates to a higher score. Quality of execution specifically pertains to how well you landed your trick.
She makes it look so simple, but it is very difficult.
In the run section, it's going to play into the overall impression. So the judges would look at that trick or that run and say, well, yeah, it was a pretty cool run, but the quality of execution wasn't really that great. There was a lot of sketchy landed stuff, and that score would be affected.
Oh my goodness! Did his hands hit the ground? I'm not sure if they did. Is that going to affect it that much?
When we get to the single trick section, this judging criteria comes into play a lot and can drastically affect the score. The judges really are taking into account how you did your trick. Flow and consistency mainly pertains to the run section. We look at how well you string your tricks together.
The special bar's up, Chris.
How many tricks are you fitting into your run? How clean are they? How well you utilize the obstacles on the course. The next judging criteria is called use of course. This really comes into play in the run section. If you can find a route through that course that's different from everybody else, that's going to set you apart from the rest of the pack.
Taking the 50-50 up the pubber certainly is something no one else is doing out there.
That means hitting every single obstacle. There are quarter pipes on the course, which isn't a normal street obstacle, but that doesn't mean that it's not in play and you can't use that to your advantage. One of the most important judging criteria is repetition. Why? Because we want to see people use a variety of tricks. The runs that use different variations of tricks feel more dynamic, and the judges appreciate that. When we go into the single trick section, the repetition rule comes into play massively because we are looking at the counted run to see if you've already done that trick. There's another scenario regarding the repetition rule, and that's when a skater does the same trick that they did on their run on the same exact obstacle.
Yeah, big spin heel flip, board slide.
So he did do that in his run.
It's going to result in a substantial deduction. As we know, there's those 5 pillars of the judging criteria. The overall impression is the sum of all the parts of the judging criteria. First, we look at how much was fulfilled, and then that leads us to what the overall impression is. And then we decide what score we're going to give that performance and rank it appropriately. If you can string together a run that has technically difficult highlights throughout, and you use the course well, you have a creative line, you landed everything solid, this is the winning recipe.